You're tuned into the P&W Sports Report. Bold takes, real talk, no filters. If you're about that football life, hit subscribe and lock in. Tonight on the show, we have our hot seat meter for coaches, college football playoff dark horses, and transfer quarterback boom or bust. Let's hop right into it. And the way we did our coaching meter is warm, cold, hot, on fire. Bradley, I will let you go first with the guys you have under the warm category.
Okay, I have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the warm category for me. I'll start with Joe Moorhead of Akron. I think his seat's a little warm. Justin Wilcox in Cal is another one that is warm. Not necessarily hot, but warm.
Kind of explain why.
Cal, I mean, at Cal, you have the pressure of USC and UCLA. I know they're in Los Angeles. Cal's not in Los Angeles, but you're in California. And the fact that, correct me if I'm wrong, is Cal in the Big Ten now? Or are they still?
No, they're in the ACC.
ACC. And they don't really have a lot of competition in the ACC outside of Miami and Clemson and SMU. But that would be the only reason is you're in a tough state to win. The next one I have is Tim Beck at Coastal Carolina. I think they have to continue to win for his seat to cool down. I have Billy Napier. I know the Gators they're projected to have a good season. They have another tough schedule, and if I think the Gators begin to struggle, that seat might be on fire. And the other one is the other team in Florida, Mike Norvell. They only had 2 wins a year ago, and if they do another one of those, I know he's got a huge buyout, but he going. They'll be looking for a new coach in Tallahassee. So those are my warm category.
Okay, my warm category, I have the same number. First one is Tony. It's either Tony or Troy Calhoun at Air Force. And obviously, you send your kid to Air Force. You're not sending him there for football.
Mm-mm.
And Air Force, right now, his seat is warm. But I think if they start to struggle again like they did last year, that Calhoun seat could warm up throughout the season. Number 2 is Kalen DeBoer at Bama. I'm sick of all these people saying, "Oh, DeBoer should be on the hot seat." His seat is, if there was another way to put lukewarm, his seat is beyond lukewarm. There is no way they're going to fire him.
No.
Saban didn't win in his first year. Then I've got Daryl Loganson at Appalachian State. It's his first year. His seat's warm right now. And I think it's going to continue to stay warm since it's year 1. Now, if it was year 2 or year 3 and he started to lose games, then I could see his seat getting to the point where it's on fire. But right now, he's sitting pretty. It's year 1. Next is Jeff Monken at Army. His seat is absolutely warm. They almost went undefeated last year. And I think they might go undefeated again this year. Kenny Dillingham's another one. I heard Arizona State fans wanted him out before the end of last season until they made the playoff. They're like, "Oh, okay, we made the playoff. Let's give him a chance." And the last one is Matt Drinkle at Central Michigan. First year. And I don't see a way he gets fired unless Central Michigan just bleeps the bed. Who are your coaches that are on the cold seat?
So these are coaches that are basically untouchable, right? These are the ones that are not even close to being fired, right?
Cold, I mean, if you want to define it that way, cold, I basically put there's a chance they could get fired, but it's unlikely unless they collapse.
Yeah, okay, so all 5 of mine will definitely fit that mold. I'm going to start with Willie Simmons at FIU. Yeah, let me just start there. That guy's safe. I don't think there's really any. I mean, again, there's not a lot of expectation for them, and I think they had a good year a year ago. I can't see them getting rid of him. Number 2 is Brent Key at Georgia Tech. Guys, Georgia Tech was almost in the ACC championship game a year ago. Can't see how in the world they're going to go backwards. I think me and Alec had them almost winning the ACC this year. So I can't see
Yes,
them.
we did.
Yeah, I can't see them going backwards. Another one is Kirby Smart. I mean, again, I know he's had trouble off the field with his players, but Georgia's the new Alabama in the SEC. They're the most hated team in the SEC, hands down. They've taken over that mound, so they've got that. The next one I have is Matt Enns at Fresno State, another guy who, again, not a lot of expectations, but they continue to win. And the last one, I hate to be a homer, but I got to put Alex Golish in that spot. They've gone 6 wins, 2 seasons in a row. They won 2 bowl games. And if everything goes right this year and Byram stays healthy, maybe an American championship. So won't cross my fingers on that one. So,
So my cold section starts with a guy that's in the same conference as Golish. He's at Memphis. He was on the hot seat last year. Ryan Silverfield. Now, his seat is cold right now. But if Memphis struggles this year, which neither of us expect them to.
I don't
either. His seat could start to get on the hotter side.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it's cold, and I expect it to probably stay like that. Same with the next guy, Billy Napier at Florida. I expect the Gators to. I know people are saying, "Oh, Florida's going to go 3-7, 4-8." No. And they're like, "Oh," because they're worried about DJ Lagway's injury. Billy Napier's job right now is safe. Next one, Chuck Martin, Miami of Ohio. He is on the cold seat. He has had Miami of Ohio consistently competing in the MAC for the last 5-6 years. And 2 years in a row, the last 2 years before this past year, they won the MAC. I am hell-bent on saying that that's possible again. They could probably win the MAC this year. Next one is, and Bradley, I think you know where I'm going with this next one. We talk about this team all the time. They get the easiest schedule in the SEC.
You're talking about Missouri.
Eli Drinkwitz. Yes, I know at one point last year, ladies and gentlemen, he was on the hot seat. And everybody in Columbia, Missouri wanted him. See you, bye. Here's your pink slip. No. I'm sorry. His seat right now is freezing cold.
Mm-hmm.
And this last one, and I might get laughed at for it, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss.
That's a good one, too.
His seat is ice cold. The only way he leaves Ole Miss is if somebody else comes calling.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's Michigan if they have to get rid of Sharon Moore, even though Michigan fans still want to cover up that they never cheated. Who do you have on my seat's feeling hot.
Hot seats. Okay. I'm going to start with Brett Brenneman of Arizona. With Arizona State doing so well, and Arizona is what? They're in the Big 12, right? Are they in the Big 12 now?
Yes.
Okay. So they have some competition in the Big 12. I don't think they've done very well. So I think his seat is definitely hot. And if they get off to a bad start, I think when we were going through our scheduling, I think if we said they got off to a bad start, he may be fired midseason. The next one is Hugh Freeze. I know for some off the wall reason, when I was going through, and we'll talk about that later, but about the college football player dark horses, actually, I do have them in there. Well, okay. Auburn is listed as a dark horse in the SEC. So if they get off to a bad start, he's on fire. He's going to be gone. The next one I have is Scott Satterfield at Cincinnati. It has not been good.
Oh, I forgot about him.
It's not been good there.
Our buddy Scott Satterfield.
Who was the former head coach at Wisconsin at Cincinnati?
Fickle.
Thank you. Since Fickle left Cincinnati, it hasn't been great. And I hate to say this name because we talk about this team an awful lot about how we shouldn't bet against this man. But Mike Gundy's seat's got to be a little hot because he hasn't really done very well. And now Oklahoma's gone in the SEC, and Oklahoma State's still in the Big 12. So they haven't lost that rivalry with Oklahoma, but it's not as big as it used to be. So his seat's a little hot, and if they get off to a bad start or they have a bad season, might be the end of Mike in Oklahoma State and Stillwater.
I only have 4. My first one, and we talk about, I feel like we wear this guy's name out. Trent Dilfer at UAB. This man is not a college football head coach, ladies and gentlemen. You don't yell at your kids. And Bradley can back me up on that.
I've witnessed it. Witnessed it. Yep.
You cannot yell at your kids. That is the easiest, and I mean easiest way to get fired, is yelling at your kids. Number 2, and how is this guy still employed at UVA? Tony Elliott. I am sorry to say this. I feel like he slided money under the table to the donors of University of Virginia to keep him as a head coach. He should have been gone after 2023. Don't get me wrong. The man is a genius as an opposite coordinator, but as a head coach, he is horrible. Number 3, Luke Fickell at Wisconsin. Yes, there is talk that he is on the hot seat. And if Wisconsin starts to struggle in the Big Ten this year, they don't got an easy schedule. They play Ohio State as one of their conference games. And both of us predicted that they would get blown out by Ohio State. I don't see him getting fired during the season. Then again, who the heck knows?
Yeah.
We could both be wrong. And in the last one, we talked about this team last episode. Jay Swavell at Wyoming. Yes, I know Wyoming is in the Mountain West, but they're one of the worst teams in that conference. And I'm pretty sure he survived last year. I don't know how. Wyoming only won 3 games. Tell me how this man survived. And who should be feeling the heat? Their seat is on fire.
I've got 4, and I'm going to start with one of the guys you just mentioned. Is Trent Dilfer. You like Alec mentioned, you cannot yell at kids and be a college football coach. I don't see Bill Belichick doing that. Okay, I didn't see, I don't see, Kirby Smart or Nick Saban. Yeah, they'll scorn them a little bit, but not what I saw at the UAB USF game last year when they were here. So he's on my Sam Pittman's another one. Yeah, that's a mess in Arkansas. So yeah, good luck there.
And spoiler, I'm pretty sure the scapegoat on that staff is the offensive coordinator, Bobby Petrino. Would you be surprised if that's the case?
Oh, I know that's absolutely going to be the case. If he gets fired, that's the next head coach at Arkansas. Brett Venables at Oklahoma. They came into the SEC. They laid an egg a year ago. The other team that came in with them is probably the favorite to win not only the SEC, but maybe the national championship. So, yeah, Brett, you need to pick it up because if not, there'll be a new head coach. And the last one I have is Sonny Kumbi at La Tech, another coach that they need to start winning or he's going to be gone too. So those are my on fire coaches.
I've got 5. I'm going to start with a guy that used to be an offensive coordinator, Major Applewhite. Name sound familiar to people? It should. South Alabama head coach. I think if they don't start winning, he's going to be his pink slip. Go look for another job. They are going through, I'm not going to say a rebuild, but a retool. They lost their quarterback. Their quarterback transferred to another school. Shocker. A lot of transfers happen to G5 schools.
Mm-hmm.
So Major Applewhite. The next one, and I know Minnesota fans are not going to like this because this coach just got an extension. And you see Bradley doing the gesture. It is PJ Fleck at Minnesota. Now, hear me out. Yes, his seat should certainly be on fire, but his seat can also cool down if they win games and somehow sneak in backdoor into the Big Ten title game. If they win the Big Ten, I'm not saying it never say never. Like we've learned in other sports. Wrestling's the perfect example, which we will have a wrestling episode Thursday.
I gotta stop real quick. That Becky Lynch thing on Nikki Bell was absolutely beautiful. We could talk about that on Thursday, though. So
yes, we can. All of that on Thursday, but no, PJ Fleck is absolutely his seat is on fire right now, but it could slowly but surely cool down if they win games. Next one is, and we've talked about Maryland 2 out of the last 3 episodes, it feels like. Mike Loxley. You better be, I don't know when you're going to get your pink slip, but if you start 0-4, go look for a new place of employment because you're gone. Your seat is burning hot.
mm-hmm.
Next is Sonny Kumbi at Louisiana Tech. And for the same reason you said, they need to start winning. He should be feeling the pressure too. And the last one, and LSU fans are not going to like this. Brian Kelly. I'm sorry. If LSU lays another egg this year, no pun intended, it doesn't make the playoff, Brian Kelly should be fired. Fired. Next, we get to our transfer portal boomer bust quarterbacks. And I will let Bradley start first.
Okay. The first one I have is Carson Beck, and I think he's going to be a bust at Miami.
Okay, explain, like with the other stuff we get, explain why.
Well, he's coming off of a elbow injury from last year. Number one, he didn't leave Georgia. I mean, he didn't have a great season at Georgia anyway before he left. And yeah, I know Miami's looking to make a splash, obviously, at the transfer portal. But again, it's a tough conference. I mean, ACC's tough. They're going to have Clemson to deal with, SMU to deal with. So I think it's going to be a bust. And I think if it is a bust, then their head coach could be gone too. We didn't even mention him on our lot list. So he could be gone too. So we'll see about that. But yeah.
My first one is Nico Iamaleava at UCLA, and I think he's going to be a boom. And here's why. He's out of Tennessee. He's in a better situation. And it's just funny. Look at UCLA's schedule. Look at who they play toward the end of the season on the road. The team that Nico lost to in the playoff. You don't think he's going to want revenge on Ohio State? And the other reason is I feel like it's a better offensive system for Nico compared to Tennessee, where they were throwing the ball all the time. Who is your number 2 boom or bust quarterback?
I have Nico too, buddy. He's definitely a boom. I'm not, all the same reasons that you did, but I'll go ahead and go with this one. Might be a surprise to a lot of people because I'm not a fan of this football team, but Tom Castellanos from Florida State, I think he's going to be a boom. The Noles can't do any worse than they did last year at quarterback. So I mean,
with DJ,
if you win 3 games, you're automatically, So.
Yeah. My next transfer quarterback, next 2, first is Carson Beck, Miami, Florida. He, like Bradley said, he's going to be a bust, and I agree. I also think he's going to be a bust. And it's because he did not end his career at Georgia very good. And I just don't think he fits the Miami system. And he's forced a couple younger quarterbacks that were at Miami to transfer elsewhere that were probably going to start this year if they didn't go out and get Carson Beck. And ladies and gentlemen, I hate to break it to you. The only reason Carson Beck went to Miami is because one of his girlfriend goes to Miami, which is one of the Cavender twins.
Got to keep the GF happy.
I guess. My next transfer quarterback is John Mateer going to Oklahoma. And I believe that's going to be a boom. He followed his offensive coordinator. They brung in Mateer and they brung in Jaden Ott. I like this move for Mateer, not only with the chance that maybe he wins the Heisman, but it improves his stock going into the draft next year. Who is your next transfer quarterback?
Did you just mention Saltier from Colorado? Is that who you just
No,
mentioned?
I did not.
I'm Caden Saltier. He transferred from Liberty. I think he's going to be a bust. And here's why I say that. He has huge shoes to fill with Shedeur. It's going to be very hard to fill those shoes of what Shedeur Sanders did. I mean, yeah, I know he wasn't the greatest quarterback and all that stuff. And without Travis Hunter, he would have been, whatever. But I think he's going to be a bust because I think the pressure that he's going to is going to be the reason why. Nothing, physically or anything like that with him. It's just
I agree.
Having to fill those shoes is tough.
Yeah, I completely agree with that statement. Who do you have after Caden Salter? Who's your next one?
I have Miller Moss at Louisville, and I think he's going to be a boom. To me, again, he transferred because of a guy that we mentioned earlier. Louisville is one of those teams, and they're going to be one of the teams I think that a lot of people put in to win the ACC. I forget that they're in that conference too. They've been a good football team for a long time. Thinking back to why is the quarterback for Baltimore skipping my name?
Lamar Jackson.
Thank you. From Lamar Jackson's era at Louisville. So I think he's going to be a boom. I think Moss will be a boom for Louisville this year.
My next transfer quarterback is Fernando Mendoza at Indiana, and I think he's going to be a boom. We saw how good Curtis Rourke was at Indiana, even though people want to say, "Oh, all Curtis Rourke did was do what you call it, check downs and screen passes." Yeah, because he was playing on a torn ACL. You're not going to get that with Mendoza. Mendoza's fully healthy, and he's welcoming going to Indiana. He was pushed out at Cal because of Devin Brown, who transferred to Cal from Ohio State. My next, and I think Mendoza is going to lead Indiana to another good year.
I have him too, by the way. I think he's going to be a boom too, for all the same reasons.
My next transfer quarterback is Darian Mensah, formerly of Tulane, now at Duke. I think he's going to be a big time boom, and this might be a longer explanation. One, I think it's going to help his draft stock because I think he saw what Michael Pratt did at Tulane and how Michael Pratt only got drafted in, I think, the 7th round by the Bucks. He's like, "Oh, I need to go somewhere where I can not only elevate my play, but elevate my stock for the NFL draft." And I think Duke, even though people want to say, "Oh, Duke's not really a football school," I think the tide's turning. And I want to make an apology here. First and foremost, I was wrong on Manny Diaz. I said Manny Diaz was not a good head coach.
He should still be at Miami. Go ahead, finish your thought.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with you. He should still be at Miami. They ran him out of there.
Should still be at Miami. Uh-huh. Yep, for Christian.
And then my last and final transfer quarterback that I think is going to be a boom is Jackson Arnold at Auburn. Yes, I know we said Auburn's not going to be good this year, but I think Jackson Arnold, he's another perfect example. He was at Oklahoma, got ran out of Oklahoma. He's like, "Oh, where can I go to maybe raise my draft stock? Oh, why don't I go play for Hugh Freeze at Auburn?" I think that's going to be a huge success for Jackson Arnold. Who are your last 3 transfer quarterbacks?
Well, I had Mendoza and I had Nico. So those are the 2. The last one I have is John Metier, if I'm pronouncing that last name correctly, the quarterback for Oklahoma. Despite what I think about their head coach, I think he will be a boom. He's coming from Washington State, so it's going to be transferring from the Pacific Northeast to the middle of the country, be a little bit warmer. I think they have a good offense at Oklahoma. I think the bad part of Oklahoma is their defense. But I think he's also under his former offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuck, also. So that's a nice transfer. It's the same guy you had at Washington State. So that's going to be
followed
good.
His OC
Followed his OC.
Oklahoma.
So, yeah. Yep, that's why I think he'll be a boom because of that reason.
Now we get to our CFB dark horses for the playoff. And the way we did this is we did it by conference and a group of 5. First, we're going to start with the Big 12. Who do you got out of the Big 12 as a dark horse for the playoff?
I have 4 teams. I have Baylor, Kansas State, Iowa State, and BYU are my 4.
Okay, so we agree on 3 out of those 4. The one change I have, and I'm sorry, BYU fans, I can't see BYU being in the playoff with having a new quarterback now. If they still had Jake Retzlaff, yes, but their quarterback situation is a mess right now. Unless somehow they can get somebody at the last minute that's in the portal right now to commit, I don't see it. Who do you have in the – well, and if you want, explain your you're thinking of the 4 teams you have from the Big 12?
Well, these 4 also could win the conference, but Baylor always is a tough out. And now that Texas and Oklahoma are gone, I think I'm not saying it makes it easier, but they were one of the premier teams when those 2 teams were in the Big 12. Kansas State's another one that had a good season a year ago. Can't see why they would take a step back. Iowa State, I think, might be my hugest dark horse in the conference because not everyone's giving them an opportunity. Of course, they have to play Iowa, which is their in-state rival. And BYU, again, the only thing that can hurt them, obviously, is a new quarterback. If they can overcome that, they can be in the playoff for the Big 12 as well.
Okay, here's my thinking. Baylor, same thing that you said. Texas Tech.
Forgot about
Let's be upfront about this. Texas Tech had I'm not going to use the word I want to use because we try not to use swear words on this show. They had a heck of a transfer portal cycle. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't believe me, go look at their transfer portal cycle and all the transfers they got. I know they lost. I know Michael Hudson decided to go back to Texas Tech. So just X him out of the equation because he's a lost cause no matter where he is. Iowa State, same thing you said. Kansas State, 2 words. 4 words. Avery Johnson, Chris Kleiman. And ladies and gentlemen, Avery Johnson is, and I don't use this phrase a lot, one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in college football. I would put him on the list with DJ Lagway, with John Mateer, with Julian Sayin at Ohio State, who's probably going to be the starter, even though people want to say, oh no, it's a QB competition. No. It's going to be Sayin at Ohio State. Who do you have from the ACC?
ACC, I have Georgia Tech, SMU, Louisville, and then I went on a huge branch, FSU. Huge branch.
Okay, explain.
Georgia Tech, again, was a elite team a year ago. We talked about we both talked about their coach earlier, about him not being on the hot seat at all. They've beaten good. They've beaten good comp. They played great in the conference. Can't see why that
Can I chime in for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Ask Miami what's happened to them the last 2 years they played Georgia Tech.
Yes, or Florida State. You can throw them in that ball of wax too. SMU, to me, I think they were in the ACC championship game a year ago.
They were.
They lost to Clemson. I think this might be one of those revenge tour type situations for them. Louisville, we both talked about their quarterback situation. They're just set up so good to be a dark horse. And the reason I put FSU in there is it can't get any worse. I mean, unless you win one game or you don't win a game at all. It's going to get better in Tallahassee. That's why I have FSU in there as a dark horse.
Well, you see, I also have 4 teams from the ACC. I have North Carolina, SMU, Georgia Tech, and I think you can guess the last one.
Duke?
No, we were talking about them pre-show. Enter Sandman.
Oh, Vatek.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to get this out of the way. The reason North Carolina is on there, and I think Bradley knows what I'm about to say. 2 words. Bill Belichick. Or, as I'm coining the phrase now, the fighting Bill Belichick's.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and they might just, another phrase I'm going to coin. Well, I'm pretty sure it's already been coined. They're going to Belichick their way possibly into the playoffs. Which we've come to figure out, and Bradley has as a Patriots fan, because Belichick was the coach for the Patriots for
6
a long time.
Mm-hmm.
SMU, say all the same things you said. Virginia Tech, Kyron Jones is back. Brett Pry, maybe on the hot seat. So this is a big season for him. Georgia Tech, same thing you said. And I'm going to say, ask Miami, ask Florida State what happens when you underestimate Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Big Ten. And let's get this out of the way. No, Ohio State is not a dark horse. No, Oregon's not a dark horse. No, Penn State's neither. They're not a dark horse, and they're not a favorite, because we both know. And I'm sorry to ruffle Penn State fans' feathers. We both know that Penn State, me and Bradley both know, Penn State is notorious for choking the second half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So no, they're not on this list. There was my little, not going to say rant, but there was my little oligarchy. Go ahead with the Big Ten teams you have as dark horses.
I have 3. I have Nebraska, Iowa, and Washington. Nebraska, the reason I have Nebraska is they haven't had the greatest success since joining the Big Ten, but they've started to turn that program, since Scott Frost is no longer there. The program is starting to turn around a little bit. And I hate to say that because that's Scott Frost's alma mater, but he's now at UCF, back at UCF.
Well, and it's year 3 under Matt Rule.
Yeah, and everybody gave him, HELL when he left, the Carolina. Oh, he can't be a college football coach. Okay, well, he's proved them all wrong because he's a good one in Nebraska. Iowa, as I've said it many, many, many times, they're the pest that just will not go away. And the only way that their head coach would get fired is if he leaves. Like, he's been at Iowa forever. I can't see.
He's been at Iowa since both of us probably started watching college football.
Probably. I mean, he's just, yeah.
He's, as they say in the sports industry, he's a lifer.
And then, like I said, you knock them away and they just keep coming back. And that's the way Iowa is.
Hey, ask an Ohio State fan. Ask me how I feel about Iowa.
And Iowa could beat Iowa State. We talked about the Big 12 earlier. But and then the last team I have is Washington, and they're just
did you put them on there because of Damon Williams and Jed Fish?
Yeah, I mean they have the talent to win. They do. And if the marbles fall the correct way, does Washington play Ohio State? I haven't looked at the schedule. They play each other?
Yep.
They do.
In Seattle.
Oh, so the Huskies are at home. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I still think Ohio State's got more, and we can talk about that after this segment's over. We can just rapid fire after this. My 3 Big Ten: Illinois, Michigan State. Yes, I will go to my grave picking Michigan State as a dark horse this year. And Washington. Illinois, it's simple. Death, taxes, and Brett Bielema keeping Illinois relevant. I don't need to go into any further discourse because we'd be here all night. And we don't have all night. Michigan State's next. 2 words: Jonathan Smith. They won 5 games last year. They are definitely we're not the only ones talking about them. There's other shows out there that have said Michigan State is getting extremely disrespected because of the previous coaching regime that was there before Jonathan Smith, which both of us know who that was. Mel Tucker. Bradley? And in Washington, I think Bradley already said it. It's because of Damon Williams and Jed Fish. And they return a lot of production within their offense. Jonah Coleman's back. They've got a couple new receivers. Their offensive line's going to be a nightmare to try to rush the passer against. Who do you have? Who are your SEC dark horses? I feel like it's kind of obvious with one of them.
One of them is the gear that I'm wearing on my head at the moment. I'm going to say Florida, South Carolina, and Auburn might be a long shot. But if South Carolina, I had them winning the SEC. But again, with Georgia and Alabama, there, and LSU, if they can get off.
See, the problem with Georgia is this might be the year to beat them.
Yeah, they're most vulnerable. That'd be nice if Florida can finally beat Georgia. It's been a long time.
Well, and I think I just saw something the other day where Georgia's got another kid that's got off the field issues.
Yeah,
shocker.
That's Kirby's got to get that under control.
Yep, driving over the speed limit. Yep. And that's why people make fun of Georgia and call them, and they say, "Oh, that's where you send your kid to end up in jail." My 3 SEC schools are South Carolina, Florida, Auburn. Auburn, we've already talked about. Jackson Arnold. And this is the big year for Hugh Freeze. If Hugh Freeze lays an egg here, he's probably
gone.
Bye-bye. South Carolina. Do I even need to say the coach's name?
You can't.
He's got a phrase coined after him. Beamer Ball. And yes, the man is kind of crazy. They won the Duke's Mayo Bowl not last year, but the year before, and the man had a whole thing of mayonnaise poured on him. I think that is the most disgusting thing to have poured on you. It's sticky.
I like mayonnaise, but not dumped all over me. I will say that.
No,
right
no, I'm the same way.
I think it dumped all over me. No, yeah.
And in Florida, DJ Lagway, easy. Group of 5. Who are your group of 5 schools that you think could be a dark horse for the playoff?
I have 5. I'm going to start with Coastal Carolina. I think this is a make or break year for the Chanticleers. I think that's how you pronounce their
it is.
I hate to say this because this might be one of those people like, well, how you could say them a dark horse? They were in the national championship game. Notre Dame. They got to be. I mean, I don't know if you consider them a dark horse, but in the Power 5, because they're not in a conference, they're independent. So you got to throw them in there. Army, Navy. I mean, how do you not put them in there? Navy is going to be another team. The Navy Army could win the American again this year. And this is one that's really far out there, but USF. I have USF in my Power 5 as a dark horse. If everything falls the right way and we stay at it.
You mean group of 5?
I'll be honest, group of 5. If everything goes the right way for the Bulls and they can get off if they can go 2-1 in their first 3 games, I think the season will pretty much speak for itself after that. So we'll see.
My group of 5, I have 3 AAC teams: North Texas, South Florida, Army. I mean, Army and South Florida, that's kind of self-explanatory. North Texas, we talked about last week on the show. And you know what? I'm really starting to get behind them as a dark horse to make a run at that group of 5 slot for the playoff. Next, and I've got 2 teams from the Sun Belt. James Madison, and I think everybody could guess the second one. No, it's not Coastal Carolina. They've got a new head coach that came over from Marshall. Southern Miss with Charles Huff. Give it to me. I want to see Southern Miss in the playoff. I know it's far-fetched. And then if I have to throw one that's way out there, that might not, that I don't think will happen. How about Miami of Ohio?
Absolutely.
And this is way far out there. How about a national championship game? And I know people are going to laugh at me in the comments. Ohio State, Miami of Ohio.
The state of Ohio would win it all. So no matter what happens, it would be.
Yes, and there would be a lot of Miami fans if they won the national championship. They'd be partying all night in Oxford, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most beautiful campuses I've ever seen. But, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, next Thursday, Bradley and I will. The show will still go on next Thursday, but it will not be on YouTube. Bradley and I will try to explain. It will be on TikTok Live. And Bradley and I were talking about this and kind of explained to them how we came up with this idea.
Well, again, guys, we, as a show, we always try to go on different platforms. Obviously, you draw a different audience. I think TikTok is probably one of the most popular social media app out there now, with it being stopped for a certain while and then it was rebooted, and then I don't know what the heck's going on now, but it's going to be cool to be on there next week. It'll be the first time I've ever done a podcast on TikTok Live. So I'm really excited about it, guys. So, be there next Thursday to see it live in real.
August 14th, same time as today, 5:30. But that's not wrapping up today's show. No. We've got some rapid fire. And we're going to start with first one, and Bradley and I were kind of talking about this off before the show started. The top college football entrances, and obviously number one's got to be Enter Sandman at Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely zero question. Now, people want to put Clemson on there. How do we phrase it? How is that one of the best entrances in college football? It's people running down, it's players in Dabo running down a hill. Come on. Like, I can find stuff that's better than that. Virginia Tech, we just talked about. Florida State, even though both of us don't really.
Yeah, watching Chief Osceola and Renegade is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool. Throws the spear down in the middle of the field, and the Knowles come out of the tunnel. That's really cool. It's a cool one.
Another one is UCF, the bounce house.
Oof, makes me sick, but yes.
Makes me sick too as a USF fan, but I need to get down to Orlando's one of the only. UCF is one of the only Florida schools I've never gone to for a football game. I've never gone to UCF. I've never gone to Florida State. I went to a Miami game way back in 2007 when they played Ohio State. And I don't think I'm ever going to get down to FIU. FAU possibly. UCF's another one in Florida. I've gone to, I can't count on both my two hands how many. I've gone to a boatload of USF games. I will have to make a trip back up to Florida once they open their new stadium. which is supposed to be in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even though you don't, I think Tennessee's another good one.
Knoxville.
Mm-hmm. The burnt the checkerboard end zone in the whatever
Rocky
they
Top.
Rocky Top, and then
Yeah.
their band, how they formed a T.
Yeah.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a pull up on the channel asking where you want us to go in 2027. And unfortunately, right now, the leader is Neyland Stadium.
God. God help me. God help me. God help me.
Bradley, it would be early in the season.
Okay. That's just God help me. That's all I'm going to say about that. God help me.
Well, the other two options are Ohio State's in second.
Okay. Columbus. Okay.
Pull up right now, actually, on stream. Let's see here. Tell you the exact percentage right now, ladies and gentlemen, of the poll. It is right now Tennessee Neyland Stadium's leading 50% to Ohio State 25, and then the biggest game in 2027, 25%. But then if we go down, we also had another one where Neyland Stadium's leading 71%. Ohio State and South Carolina tied at 14%. And nobody's picked poor old West Virginia.
Morgantown.
Somebody, and these two polls are both open until January of 2027. That is when these polls close and we make our final decision where we're going in 2027. As you know, we are going to Michigan, Oklahoma in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
But we have no idea where we're going at in 2027. Please, ladies and gentlemen, remember to vote on both the polls. And the winner of the poll is the school, the stadium we go to in 2027. And for 2026, we want to hear from y'all what you want us to do in Ann Arbor. Obviously, yes, we will vlog our entire experience on the campus of the University of Michigan. But we want to know and I think Bradley does too, both of us. We want to know what other video ideas you have for us in 2026 for the Michigan-Oklahoma game. But what is your rant of the week?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I really consider it a rant. I think it's exciting that we're getting closer to college football starting. Me personally, I'm going to be announcing high school football in 2 weeks, so that's cool. And then, of course, USF's in a couple weeks as well. I'm really excited about it. I think it's a good time of the year because now you have high school, college, and pro football all getting ready to go. And on my show, The Walker Report, there will be a whole hour of us going through all the college football games, the top 25, and then all the NFL games. So there'll be a whole hour just dedicated to that coming up in the next couple of weeks. But I'm just excited that college football's back in general coming up here soon. So not really a rant, but kind of excited that college football is on the verge of being back. So
and same with me. Other than these people saying, "Oh, college football is ruined because of the transfer portal and NIL."
Everybody has an opinion, but I don't think so. Just because they're old school college football fans. So.
Yeah, and same thing. Well, and to an extent, I agree with this. But at the same time, it makes it more fun. The conference realignment. People are like, oh, the new Pac-12. That's the teams that are going to be in the new Pac-12 make no sense. Like Boise State, they're saying that doesn't make sense. San Diego State, Fresno State, and then not North Texas, UTEP going to Mountain West. But people are like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. They're in Texas. I'm sorry, nothing makes sense now with realignment. You got Cal in the ACC, you got Stanford in the ACC, you got Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA in the Big Ten. Now, we could have an episode dedicated to conference realignment down the road where we talk about what we would do to fix. I mean, we could kind of do that right now, actually. What would you do to fix conference realignment?
Well, unfortunately, guys, it all comes down to money. It's a money, unfortunately. And you have a team like Maryland, who was a charter member of the ACC, take money to go to the Big Ten. I mean, that's it. They were a charter member of the Atlantic Coast Conference, and they left to go to the Big Ten because of money.
Same with Rutgers.
So, yeah, Rutgers is the same way. So at the end of the day, it comes down to money. And I think what's end up going to happen someday down the road is there's going to be 4 power conferences. Fortunately, we're going to lose all these little conferences like the MAC, Conference USA. They're all going to be molded into the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and maybe the Pac-12 maybe survives, or the ACC. I don't know which conference will survive or not, but if Florida State and Clemson leave the ACC for some reason or another, I think the conference goes under. I really do.
Well, and I'm going to add, what about the same thing with North Carolina? Because you're going to think, if Florida State, if Florida State and Clemson leave, that's going to start a domino. Yep. North Carolina State's going to want to leave. North Carolina's going to want to leave. And there's already talk if the ACC dissolves, that the Big Ten would maybe get Clemson, North Carolina State, FSU, or FSU would go to the SEC.
Yeah, I was going to say you could even, if you're going to take North Carolina, you got to take Duke, because that would make the Big 12 Big 10 even better in basketball, because you got 2 big, blue bloods in Duke and North Carolina.
I think that's the only reason that the Big 10 took USC and Oregon is because they're decently good in football, but they're really good in basketball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching tonight. Again, if you enjoyed the PNW Sports Report, please remember to like and subscribe and send your questions into our text line. The number is 813-600-7673. Again, that is 813-600-7673. And we answer, if there is any questions, we answer them on the next show, which will be Thursday at 5:30. And that'll be our SummerSlam, WWE SummerSlam recap, as well as Raw review, recapping Raw from this past week, and talking about what we think is going to happen down the road with WWE. But for Bradley and Alec, we are signing off. We will see everybody on Thursday.
See you guys. Have a good night, guys.